Genevieve, I get it. Wow.
The return of a loved one after a long period away from home typically becomes a deeply emotional moment, especially when that return is uncertain or infrequent. This is particularly true for soldiers who must always be ready to defend their country's security. Their homecoming becomes a cherished event, likely remembered for a lifetime due to the profound sense of relief and joy it brings.
Baby. Ow.
For a younger sister, the presence of an older brother is immensely significant. An older brother often acts as a protector, shielding his sister from harm. This was exactly the experience of a little girl in a cheerleader costume, visibly shocked by the sudden appearance of her brother who had been away serving in the military. Her brother embraced her tightly, his protective nature evident. The girl seemed unable to believe her eyes, crying repeatedly, while her brother patiently comforted her, reinforcing their deep bond and the emotional significance of their reunion. A young man still in his sports uniform was unexpectedly summoned to a room at his school, curious and somewhat apprehensive about the reason, fearing potential bad news about his family. During his conversation with the teacher, from behind, a woman in a military uniform quietly approached him, taking him by surprise. It turned out to be his older sister, who had been deployed far away. The teacher and his classmates had orchestrated this surprise, bringing his sister to reunite with him. They embraced each other tightly, releasing their mutual longing in a reunion that moved not only them, but also the onlookers who felt the emotional weight of this brother and sister seeing each other again. During a school graduation ceremony, a young girl walked with her classmates in a procession to greet the audience and their families. However, she was stunned to spot a familiar face among the spectators. It was her older sister, who had been away on military duty and far from home. Trying to hold back tears, she continued to walk forward, signaling to her sister just how much she loved her. It seemed she could barely wait to break from the procession and rush into her sister's arms for a long overdue embrace. A soldier, with the help of his colleagues, made a surprise return home. Initially, he knocked on his front door, and when his wife came out, she was so shocked that she momentarily closed the door again. But then, reopening the door and seeing her husband and his colleagues, her disbelief was palpable.
Wow.
Overwhelmed, she couldn't hold back her tears and embraced her husband tightly, watched by their son and his colleagues. The reunion was emotional, filled with the joy and relief of having the family back together.
Wow.
The atmosphere during a dinner at a restaurant turned deeply emotional when a man in a military uniform unexpectedly approached a table serving his parents. Both parents were astonished to see their son appearing unexpectedly before them. The father was moved to tears, unable to contain his longing and the overwhelming joy of seeing his son after such a long separation. After a long period away from his family due to military duties, and possibly missing the birth of his child, this man finally had the chance to meet his newborn baby. Carefully, he lifted his child into his arms for the first time. The moment was tender and poignant, filled with the emotions of a father embracing his child. A precious reunion that marked a new beginning for the family. She seemed to shed tears repeatedly, perhaps still unable to believe what she was seeing. She looked at the baby with sincerity, as if all her tiredness had disappeared after she was able to hug and meet the child she had missed so much. A routine family gathering was transformed by the sudden arrival of a family member who had been away for a long time due to national duties. The young man approached his mother, who screamed in surprise before enveloping him in a tight embrace. Beside them, his grandmother was visibly moved, fighting back tears as she saw her grandson return. The siblings and other relatives nearby also shared in the emotional reunion, feeling the depth of the moment as they witnessed this poignant family scene unfold. A young boy did not expect to see the figure he had missed so dearly. Initially, he was just standing at a street corner with his mother. Suddenly, his eyes caught sight of his father standing not far from them. He ran to his father's embrace and began to cry, overwhelmed by disbelief at the reunion. His father held him just as tightly, echoing the boy's emotions, as they had not seen each other for a considerable time due to the father's duties. Unwilling to wait until her father returned from work, this woman chose to visit her father at his workplace. She approached as he finished operating a heavy machine. Noticing his daughter's presence, he quickly descended and ran to hug her dearly. Tears welled up in his eyes as he held his daughter, whom he was immensely proud of and had missed deeply during his time away. The father was moved by the unexpected visit, celebrating the reunion with his daughter, who had come to find him in such a loving gesture. A family was enjoying a quiet meal at a restaurant, awaiting their food order. However, their calm was soon shattered by a surprising discovery about who was delivering their meal. A young man approached with their food, and the mother sitting at the table was instantly stunned. It was her son, who had been away for a long time on duty. The sudden reunion prompted heartfelt embraces as they began catching up, filling the restaurant with their joy and relief at being together again. Beyond family, a true friend holds an irreplaceable place in one's life, offering comfort and meaning. Especially in times of trouble, a friend often steps forward to offer support. Thus, parting with a friend for any reason can deeply affect one's emotions. In this video, a man in a striped shirt is visibly shocked by the return of his friend who had been away on duty for an extended period. At first, he is so taken aback that he nearly falls over, but once he confirms it's truly his friend, he quickly moves to embrace him tightly, overwhelmed by the sudden joy of their reunion. A mother and father were enjoying their meal in a restaurant when they were suddenly startled by the unexpected arrival of their son. The atmosphere quickly became emotionally charged. The mother continuously cried, overwhelmed by disbelief at the sight before her. Her son, just back from his duties, embraced her with all the sincerity and love he could muster, reinforcing their strong family bond. In this tender moment, a young girl was casually stepping out of her classroom, ready to head home, when she suddenly became aware of a long-awaited presence. Her father, who had been away on duty for an extended period, was now back. The realization sparked a moment of pure joy and surprise, reuniting the father and daughter in a heartfelt embrace that underscored the deep connection and relief at their reunion. The little girl immediately jumped into her father's arms. It seemed that she had been waiting for her father for a very long time. She briefly released her hug to make sure that what she saw was really her father. After being completely sure, she hugged her father again, this time even tighter.